Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, this is Jackie Cation, and you are about to listen to the Dork Forest since 2006. And it is on iTunes, of course, where you may have received it. You may have gotten it at dorkforest.com. Feel free to review it on iTunes. We are part of the All Things Comedy Network, allthingscomedy.com, where my new hour special, This Will Make an Excellent Horcrux, is available for $5 download. Knock yourselves out. My website, JackieCation.com, has a player if you want to just listen to it, and you don't want to do iTunes. And JackieCation.com has everything. It has my stand-up schedule. It has a merch page where you can get Dork Forest t-shirts and even order a Dork Forest hoodie if you like. All of the shirts are made in America because while I'm willing to wear clothing that are made by toddlers, I'm unwilling to sell clothing made by toddlers. The hoodies, special ordered, for some reason, still made in the Philippines. I don't know why. Possibly because they're super cozy, and I don't sell that many of them, but I should work on that. Anyway, there's a chance to donate to the Dork Forest. If you enjoy the Dork Forest, feel free to donate. $100 a year makes you a super fan, and you could do that in one chunk of $100, or you could break it up however you want, because I have not made that easy for you. It would be $8.33 a month if you want to do it. You could also just order stuff if you want Dork Forest t-shirts or CDs or DVD. I have 3 CDs out and 1 DVD, and you can order all of them. You could order a t-shirt, you could order a hoodie, and that will also support the show, and I totally appreciate that. Yeah, just so you know, the DVD of the Horcrux is Friday's second show. That is the video. And the CD is Saturday's second show. I don't know. I didn't videotape that one, but I like that set better, so that is the CD. The DVD is approximately 56 minutes long, and the CD about 48. So they're different sets, but they're the same material, and it's weird, but I like it. The credits. Let's credit the people that make this show possible, quite honestly. We have Mike Rickberg, who sang the intro song and composed the intro song and sings it with his girlfriend, Sarah Cohen, and he will sing Mexican Hat Dance at the end of this. The audio is fixed every week, and the teasers are created by Mr. Patrick Brady. Mr. Patrick Brady, friend of the show. Vilmos does my website, JackieCation.com. So if you're looking for someone to do your website, go to JackieCation.com, scroll down, and click on that link. All right, let's do this. Enjoy. At RBC Wealth Management, social responsibility starts at the top. As a part of the Royal Bank of Canada, RBC has been recognized among the world's financial, social, and environmental corporate leaders. Our sense of responsibility extends to our reputation for putting clients' interests first. My personal commitment is to help you achieve your financial goals by also considering sustainable and responsible investing strategies. To learn more, visit www.darlacashin.com. RBC Wealth Management, a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC. Member NYSE, FINRA, SIPC. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You know the websites. I probably already said it. Anyway, Doug Mellard, welcome to my home.
Thank you for
here in beautiful
me.
Downtown Van Nuys, helicopter test area. And you're here.
Helicopter
You're standing
test area.
You know, we often get a lot of helicopters.
Oh man!
And there's not that much crime, even though the implication is that there's crime in Van Nuys.
Oh yeah.
Well, we don't see any crime. Knock on something, but what we do see is a lot of helicopters, probably preventing crime. But Andy, my husband's speculation is that this is where they practice their helicopter flying. This is a helicopter test area.
Well, they need to do that, I guess, for L.A. because
there's other
choppers
places
everywhere.
Right. And we're in there's a hospital somewhere, and we have the airport, and so there's
lots of helicopters.
Lots of things are happening.
Good Lord.
It's loud. Anyway, Doug Mellard, M-A-L-L.
M-E.
M-E-L-L-A-R-D. I swapped the E and the A. So Mellard, M-A-L-L-E-R-D. And that's on Twitter, Instagram, stand-up comedy. People should come see you do the stand-up comedy with the talking and the joking. Well, where did you start stand-up?
In Austin, Texas.
There we go. And but you and I are going to discuss the magical world of Magnum PI.
Yes, we are.
Well, we're going to start with that. You and Huntsberger Junk?
Yeah, David Huntsberger Junk. we have. It started actually in Austin. Like he started out prior to Austin. I think he was doing comedy, but he really kind of got his, I guess, real start in quotes.
Sure.
In Austin.
I started in Madison, Wisconsin. Got my real start in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, Acme Comedy Club.
That's
Great
it.
club. And so we had a lot of adventures in Austin, and he got me. As a kid, I really liked Magnum PI.
Right.
But there was he would wake up and watch. There's Magnum PI on at 11 and then at 1, and so he got me
Ion,
just
this
like on
TV, where
CW
Yeah,
or something,
okay.
And then so he got me back into it, and then the DVDs started coming out. Mm-hmm. So then I would just go on these mad marathons, and I just got so sucked into the world of Donald P. Bellisario, who is a genius. He was also behind Quantum Leap.
Sure. Let's not deny his other work.
No. And Quantum Leap is fantastic.
Magnum PI for our younger listeners.
Yeah.
Explain that it is a television program.
It's a television show about a man with a mighty mustache.
That's that is his distinctive. I just saw Quigley Down Under on the television the other day, which is one of his feature length. He not big enough he can't fill the big screen.
Yeah.
But he's huge on the small screen.
Yeah, he really.
Guy knocks it out of the park.
We were watching the other day. We get together. We have Magnum Mondays. Well, I should finish. So it's a detective, a private eye, Magnum PI, hence the PI.
Right.
And
an investigator.
he stays in a mansion that belongs to Robin Masters, who's never there. And
who is Robin Masters?
Is
that the character's name?
Yeah,
or is that
he writes these romantic novels and these novels.
And it's in Hawaii.
Yeah, and it takes place in Hawaii. I just learned this because I'm so excited because
this is
CBS, I believe, put it out, and they had filmed
about right.
Hawaii 5-0, and they still had all this leftover kind of budget from Hawaii or whatever. So they're like, we need a show. It was going to take place in LA, I think, and they were like, no, we still got stuff we can use in Hawaii, so that's why it's in Hawaii. And a lot of it makes no sense in Hawaii. Like, we watched one recently where there was a horse show, the International Hawaii Horse. What? There were the cowboys and
in Huntsburger. He came on Dork Forest and dorked out about horses.
Yeah,
that guy knows some horse talk.
He's a big cowboy.
And why would? Yeah, he can shoe horses and everything. But so they had a horse show, and David Huntsberger did not think that was. That's where the suspension of disbelief went.
Yeah.
That's where it was all shut down. Today's craft services are frozen grapes, by the way, because it's 1,000,000 degrees outside.
Well, my sensitive teeth are. Whew. I want more, but it hurts.
They're by the end of the hour, they'll be, you can have as many as you want.
Because they'll
be regular grapes. Okay. So that's the premise. So he is house sitting essentially forever.
Yeah. Well, he's like a house guest. Higgins is the butler. He watches the mansion. And
wait, is Higgins the tiny man who was Kit the Car voice?
He's got the British guy with the tiny mustache and
the voice of Kit the Car.
Oh yeah.
Knight
I
Rider.
think that might be another. I think that was the guy. He was in what was that? Boy Meets World. I think.
Okay.
Different guy. Same ballpark. Yeah.
Oh, me and my British voices don't can't do it.
But
anyway, so Higgins, he was only the frickin' butler.
Yeah, he was just the butler, but.
I thought he was a neighbor with his own mansion.
No, he just ran the place while Robin Masters is gone. You never see Masters. Like, I think it's revealed in the final episode. And then he's got his friends TC and Rick, Larry Manetti. God, what a great name. His real name is Larry Manetti.
Okay.
And he always screws over his buddies, like TC and Rick. He just constantly, he's a horrible friend. Magnum PI, great detective, horrible person. He's just constantly roping them into adventures, and
dangerous.
They're shot at constantly. He needs TC's helicopter. He runs a helicopter tour thing. He's always just like, TC, I need your helicopter. We're bringing it back to helicopters. And so he's just constantly using his friends who are almost killed. I saw one
almost
recently.
every episode? Or?
Every episode. And there was one recently where he's like, Rick, grab your sushi costume. What? And
because one of the guys is he Japanese?
I don't know why he had
what are their ancestries?
Yeah,
are they all white guys?
There's
all four of these
TC's
people?
a black guy. Okay. The other guys are all white, and
TC is the helicopter.
He's the helicopter
pilot.
guy. Yeah.
Okay.
And but yeah, that was quite an
Grab
adventure.
your sushi costume.
Yeah, grab your sushi costume. I forgot we had to go in a disguise. It was ridiculous though. And then they got shot at. Somebody busted out an Uzi on the streets of Hawaii because Hawaii seems really dangerous.
Super
according
dangerous.
to Magnum PI.
David Sedaris got his laptop stolen there once.
Really?
Yeah, that's I think the more likely kind of crime that's going on.
The worst crime that's ever happened.
I think the crimes that are occurring in Hawaii are pretty mellow.
Other than Godzilla, I guess, in the recent film.
Right, that was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're still recovering.
But it could have been worse if it wouldn't have been for Godzilla.
Yeah. Yeah.
He stopped those two prehistoric birdie things.
Yeah, that was sweet.
Anyway, so those are your main characters. The butler. Where does he live? Does he have a guest house as well, essentially?
You know what? I think he has Magnum has the guest house, and they're always negotiating what Magnum can use. Like, he gets the Ferrari in the first episode or two.
Okay.
And by the way, Mike Post does the greatest. It's one of the greatest theme songs ever. The Magnum PI, just a rockin' theme song. They don't use it though. For like the first 11 or 12 episodes, they use this kind of jazzy, lame theme song. And I actually have the 45 of the Mike Post Magnum, and it's
Mike Post composed and sang.
It was no singing, just rocking guitar. And then throughout every episode, if the tone slows down a notch, it's this theme, but it's just slowed down. And then
do that. They do that on it's the Brady Bunch. Remember the seesaw?
Oh yeah.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, it's just
because the kids are tired.
Yeah.
So they do that when there's something, they just play the theme slow behind
if
it.
something goofy happens, it's a little like goofier tone, but the same damn song, and it's
awesome.
It's just ridiculous. And yeah, I don't know, like it's such a rocket that we were actually disappointed with the horse episode that they didn't have like a twangy like please for the love of God,
guitar,
yeah,
steel
like
guitar version of
that
would have been unstoppable. What year was it on?
I think it started in 78 or 79.
Okay.
And went for 7 or 8 seasons.
Wow.
It really picks up right now. So we have these Magnum Mondays where we watch Magnum PI and then we play Sega Genesis. And it's just a night to unplug. Yeah. And we did a lot of that in Austin. And we just kind of goof of old times, but
right. And it's so this is a Monday evening that you and
yeah. You know, if we're not doing shows, and sometimes we'll like, hey, let's go to a show together or this that. But yeah,
for the most part,
we'll have our Magnum Mondays. It's very important.
And do you have the DVDs?
It's on Netflix. It's streaming on Netflix.
It's streaming.
Yes.
All right.
As is Quantum Leap, which I just found out.
No. No time like the present.
Yeah.
I love Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
You know, Scott Bakula, of course, rhymes with Butt Cracula. A lot of people don't remember that. They thought about naming him Butt Cracula. Anyway,
I love him.
And no, he's the best. He's so great.
I used to, very early on in my career, I would, if I was having a bad set, I would just turn to no one and say, Al, why haven't I left yet? No one ever got it. There would be one guy that would be like, yes. And I would be like, you and I connect. The rest of the audience can screw themselves.
I have a Lyssa Strata joke that has the exact same response to that. My Sophocles set is not going very well, is what I'm saying, my ancient Greek references. Anyway,
nice.
So, okay. I'm having a grape. Okay, this could be like the very famous Matt Knutson shrimp episode where there was too much eating and the audience was disgusted and befouled and one guy stopped listening. Anyway, that's right. Every 100 episodes, you guys, I'm going to eat during an episode. But it's usually cashews and chocolate, but I seem to be out of chocolate, so I brought you some.
I forgot to mention I'm deathly allergic to grapes.
Oh, okay.
Just going for it.
If you're allergic to grapes, there are grapes in these grapes.
Do you know,
that joke works better with the cashews.
Do you know dogs are deathly allergic to grapes?
I did not know that.
Just found that out.
I thought it was chocolate.
That too. But
and work.
Grapes is on it.
You know what dogs are really allergic to? Fucking getting a job. Get off your ass, dog.
Damn lazy ass dogs.
Except for those horse cutting dogs. Those guys can't stop working. Those guys.
Oh wait, what?
There's like those little horse shepherd dogs, those shepherd dogs.
Oh, yeah. Well, and even the therapy dogs, I feel bad for those guys because they've got a job, but you're not allowed to pet them. Like, if you see one out, a friend of mine was just like, oh, cute, and wanted to pet this dog, and it's like torture, and the dog's wagging its tail. It wants to be pet, but you can't
No, you
so
can't.
cruel.
Well, to some extent, you're not supposed to touch other people's dogs.
Yeah, true.
It's
if you ask,
when the
though,
battle
you know?
for the Planet of the Apes comes, that's one of
Yeah.
the reasons why the apes revolted, because they're like, we are not your pets.
Yeah,
I will
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you who can scratch behind my ear and who cannot. Anyway, but. Yeah, with the therapy dogs, it's like police dogs. I love German Shepherds. They're my favorite dog.
They're the best,
They're one of my
yeah.
favorite dogs. And I always want to pet this German Shepherd or the TSA, bomb sniffing.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know better. I know better than to do it, but I still want to,
I got so excited once at an airport. That was the whole story.
Oh, that was it.
No. I saw a drug dog on the other side of the security gate.
Oh, right.
But in front of that, on my side, there was like 8 kids running around on a little sugar high, just going crazy. Their mom, it was like 6 a.m. The mom is just not awake yet. She can't deal with it. And one of the children, this little boy, is bouncing up and down, bouncing up and down, bouncing up and down. I wasn't in the mood. The girl I was dating with wasn't in the mood. And in his backpack, it was a clear backpack, he had a live rabbit. And it was like kind of unzipping as he jumped. And I was like,
No.
And she was like, well, you should probably
What
say
year is
something.
this?
Oh God, 2007 or something.
Okay, so like after 9/11.
Yeah. And it was that weird thing where she was kind of like, maybe one of us should
We
say
should
something.
mention.
And then kind of like, you should maybe say something. But I was just like, no, I want to see how this plays. Like if a bunny gets out and a German Shepherd goes nuts, it'd be like the greatest. I was so disappointed.
You're like
it didn't
reaching
happen.
for your phone.
yeah.
You're like, where can I find? Oh my God. That's the worst. Okay. So Magnum PI, we're back to it.
There's Dobermans in that.
Oh yeah. Who has Dobermans? I've seen
Robin
the Dobermans.
Masters,
Oh, the guy has Dobermans.
How
The
am
guy
I
who owns
blanking
them.
on the Doberman? Apollo. Oh my
the
God.
names of the Dobermans?
I know the names
Athena,
of the dogs.
Other Greek
Shoot.
gods?
I'm
Hermes?
an idiot.
That's all right. People will yell things at their iPod. It'll be fine. And but how many dogs are there?
There's just the 2,
Oh,
and they
there's-
hate Magnum, so it's
Oh,
just
they hate
another
it.
little obstacle for Magnum.
Okay, because the montage in the beginning of the show, he is running from the Dobermans. at
Yeah,
one
yeah,
point,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Because if Higgins is mad at him, he'll sick him
he'll
on him.
release the dogs.
There's a lot of whimsical Higgins Magnum.
where they're really just best of friends. But by
Yeah,
the
deep
7th
down they love
season-
each other, but it's a hard, tough love, and
Where are you guys in the watching?
thank God we're almost through season 1, because season 1 is actually pretty rough. Like
Okay.
the writing picks up; they get different writers. Like season 2, season 3. So
Well, everything has to shake loose. It
Yeah,
takes, it
yeah,
takes a little
yeah.
bit. So 22 episodes in that first season?
no, actually, I think you know what? I think it's 18. I think we're on 16.
Okay.
And what's crazy is we've just decided, like, we have to, if we ever decide to leave Los Angeles, we have to wait until we watch about 2 episodes a year. So we have at least 4 years that we're stuck here because we have to do this every Monday.
Right.
And then give or take a few, we missed a couple Mondays. I think he was on the
Already, you're
road.
already
so,
behind.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Slacking.
So the first season is the hardest one.
Yeah, we just watched 2 episodes. We're just the worst.
Is there always a love interest?
Yeah, he gets, God, 2 of the funniest things is, okay, 1, there's always alcohol in every episode. He always has a beer. He's always offered a beer, almost in every scene.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll have 1 sip. Like, so he'll have like the neck of the beer.
Right.
He puts it down. That's it. And so it's like he'll have a taste. And then with the women, he'll get like a quick
The
kiss.
same thing.
And that's
He'll
it. Yeah.
grab 'em by
It's just
the
like
neck.
it's
No
just
tongue, and then it'll
yeah.
drop them.
It's a taste of everything, but never full on. There was a virgin in I think the last episode
Oh,
we
really?
watched, and it was just like, is Magnum? I don't think he's that kind of guy. Come on, Magnum.
Right.
You're better than that.
Someone who's a virgin who's like 25, 27 years old, you're going to want to marry that girl.
Yeah.
Let's make a statement here, Dork Forest. Yeah, at that point, she's been waiting for something. It's better be pretty special. Though if you're a 27-year-old virgin, for the love of Christ, I'd like to also take the opposite and go, just fuck somebody.
Yeah.
Now it's exhausting. Anybody at this point, because then you will realize, while it is wonderful, you really just got to get over that first hump. Huh? First.
Hey,
But-
yep. See what you did
That
there.
was 16 minutes in. That might be the clip, people. That might be it. Anyway, so So does he have family? Seriously,
You know, I
I've
don't
seen
think-
a half an episode of Magnum PI, which is weird.
Oh, wow. Now, you know what? That's a good question. I feel like it may have come up later, but yeah.
Like some sort of
he's just
disgusting brother that shows up.
Yeah.
Like
I
season
don't
4.
really
Was he in
recall
Vietnam?
that.
Or
he
was TC
Yeah,
in Vietnam?
that's how they all know each other. He
Okay.
and his buddies. They were all in Vietnam together. I actually have his Da Nang hat. And
What do you have?
like his Vietnam hat. Like
There's a hat that
like
that
the
he wears in
Magnum,
the
yeah.
thing. Wait, do you have it from the show?
Yeah.
Where'd you get it? A prop shop or
I think a friend got it for me, like for Christmas one year.
Wow.
And,
All right.
and
that is the cred that we are looking for here on the Dork Forest.
Huntsberger is actually going to print up TC's company's Island Hopper T-shirts for
Okay.
us just to wear together. I grew out a mustache just to watch it one Monday. I mean, we're total dorks
You guys,
for it.
and you guys and that's the plan. You're like
That's it.
7:00, one of your apartments, whatever.
Yeah, we just-
and you sit around. Do you have food? Do you,
Yeah, well,
do you cook for each other?
Yeah. We had
What is
bratwurst
it,
the last time and a couple beers, you know?
Okay, do you do a little grilling or?
Yeah.
All right.
We make it a thing.
You make it a thing, and then Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
You go back in time.
We-
You get yourself a Sega Genesis.
It's the greatest. I don't do. I'm not hip enough for the new game systems. They're too much. They're too complicated. There's too many buttons. There's too much going on. My attention span is crap. Sega Genesis is 3 buttons, and
What I did is I walked away to show Doug Mellard Andy Ashcraft's Sega Dreamcast jacket
Man.
because he used to work for Dreamcast,
that is awesome.
and so
Oh,
yeah, it's like it's his winter coat,
wow.
and it's
God.
easily 20 years old.
Yeah, that's
So I don't know how he keeps things nice because this hat is a month old and it's trash.
That Sega logo. It's just beautiful to me. Just we play mostly a lot of sports games. We play this really terrible game that's the best game called Quarterback Club, and I don't know if anybody's
Old
ever
school
played
football?
it. It's just this old school. You know, what is it? 16-bit, 32-bit, something like that. 64, maybe.
I say yes.
Something
it's one
like
of
that.
those.
It's down there.
Right.
And it's, kids today. Oh,
Those
good
crazy
Lord.
kids today. Both megs of RAM we were using.
They would hate it, but good. It's just there's something.
They're all nostalgic now. They would essentially create a new game with like based on Pretty Little Liars, but also 16-bit.
Yeah.
So
But there's something about it. I don't know. And it's the same Sega I had as a kid. There's something that's great about that too. Like I didn't go out and buy an old Sega.
okay,
I have my Sega. You know.
Yeah, it's like having a stuffed animal from
Yeah.
when you were a kid. Except for that it's, I wish I still had one of those Coleco. I used to have the Coleco football games.
Oh wow, yeah, those
I had
are
one
great.
of those, and it was a year where I got like $50 and I tried to turn it into 7 games. And so what I would do is I would buy a game, play with it for 2 weeks, and then take it back to the Kohl's.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
trade it in for a different game.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think I started out with $100 because it was $100 for that Coleco thing.
Yeah.
And then I just kept trading down because it was worth less and less money. I don't know how it all happened, but I got to play like Electronic Battleship that summer. And then eventually I think I got a gun. I was like, no, I want that silver pistol. That'd be great. And some caps. It was a hell of a summer, kids. Anyway, so that's what you guys do. And now there's 7 seasons of it.
Yeah. 7 or 8 maybe.
Does he end up, now you've seen them all before.
I have, but it's been a while since I've seen the final. We're doing it in order.
Right. You're not playing around.
It's
You gotta,
this weird thing.
there's a structure.
I got so into Magnum back in Austin that there was actually, this is kind of I'm going to sound like a horrible person.
Uh-oh.
But so this is how addicted I got. This crazy stripper neighbor came by crying, banging on my door. I'm in the middle of this epic episode and she's banging on the door. I let her in. She's got her eyes kind of swollen.
You are not the hero of the story if it's going the way I think it's going.
Some guy, she's like, my ex, hit me. Oh, this is horrible. There was a domestic disturbance.
Right.
And she comes in and she's really upset. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I give her a big hug and she just hugs me back. But over the shoulder, I'm just
like
kind of taking a peek at like, we're at the end there. And, it's coming up and I still trying to stay tuned, but also,
because you don't have a DVR probably at the time.
Yeah.
And it's all real time.
So, it was just, and then right after that, there's a banging on the door, and I've almost been murdered before by a man that jumped through a window. So, which was random circumstances.
Right. It's when you were in Nam.
Yeah. And, I was just wrong place, wrong time. Didn't know the person. It was strange, but.
That is.
Anywho, and that was maybe a year prior. So, I'm still a little jumpy. Even now, still a little jumpy. And
sure.
Banging on the door after she just yelled all this crazy stuff. And, it's just a comic buddy of mine that's just playing a goof. And he was yelling like, I'm going to mess you up and you better get out of here. Just the worst timing anyone's ever had in the history of
so good.
the
You
world.
are, you're not the worst person in this story.
I guess he topped. Daniel Kilpatrick, Daniel Jackson. But as soon as I open the door, they see this crying woman and they're just like,
he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And I just was like, go away.
Right.
But
now's not the time.
But we watched the Magnum. She chilled out. It was fine. You just look at Selleck's mustache. You're good.
That's it. It's just you say to yourself, it could be worse, and he'll make it better. This guy, he's a charming guy.
He is, he hasn't really
Tom
aged
Selleck.
much.
No, he looks the same. There'll be a year. Like, he'll hit like 70.
Yeah.
And essentially he'll probably lose like 35 pounds.
Yeah.
And he'll be just a wiry old dude. But until that time, he will have a full hair and a mustache.
He's got that mustache rocking still.
That's crazy.
We had a Magnum Monday recently where we got really depressed because we realized I'm 35.
Right.
I think Huntsberger's 34.
Mm-hmm.
And we looked up because he's just such a man, and he's always got that giant chest hair, that barreled chest, and that mustache, and he's such a tall, big dude.
Yeah, he's like 6'5".
Yeah, he's a giant. And so we were like, how old do you think he is here? Because he just looks like such a man.
Right.
We looked at he was our age, and it was just like, there's no way if I was on screen I could be anything close to ever in my life. I will never
look like that guy.
I'll never be. His mustache is more of a man than I am. I can't.
You're at your peak right now.
Yeah.
And he was that guy when he was your age. As I think about the same thing with women, where you're just like, the
mustaches?
best looking. Yeah. Well, you're like, this is the best looking I'm ever going to be. And I'm so much better looking than I was, whatever. And you're like, oh, but I'm never going to be that woman. You'll meet some, well, this is something else, but whatever. I mean, with women, there's like two kinds. There's like the super powerful mesmerizo lady.
Yeah.
Who's like, just people flock to her and everyone wants. I watched Pretty Little Liars
and
yesterday.
They're horrible people. No.
They're just messed up. They just have been given, I think, too much power.
Yeah.
And so, cause I don't know if you've ever seen Pretty Little Liars, which is an hour-long kind of OC Gilmore Girls mashup. It's something you would watch in college. It's a nighttime soap opera, and it's about these four terrible women who are in high school but are clearly in their late 20s.
I've probably dated all of them.
Well, some variety and the four guys that they're all dating, they're the exact same guy with four different haircuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like buzz cut, there's one length slick back guy, there's Vinnie Barbarino, and then there's I don't know what the other guys, but Bangs. That's right. And so, but whenever they would get into a fight, is it the men too? No, it's just the women. It was just the women. Whenever there would be some sort of argument, they would take half a step towards the person they were arguing with. And swear to God, the underlying message of that was, I could fix this all if we just make out. With each other, with their moms, with the furniture, with fucking anything. They'd be like in a fight with like their schoolwork, and you'd be like, I'm just going to make out with the school book. And it was like the weirdest. I was like, oh, that is, and I'm completely derailed this conversation.
Oh my God.
But you have to watch Pretty Little
Yeah,
Liars and see
that's
this.
definitely happening.
There's acting going on, and the acting seems to be this half step. We're making out, right?
Towards any, like,
Absolutely anything.
objects?
There was a little bit of, because, and there's probably, it's a 42-minute, right? Hour-long show.
Yeah.
There's probably 18 to 20 minutes of dialogue, and they do a lot of,
Wow.
There's a new thing happening. A lot of shows have it. They do, instead of writing any sort of dialogue, they have a character looking out the window, with some music playing.
Oh God, yeah.
Right. Or
Well,
in this
who
case,
needs
they'll be
dialogue?
right. Why don't you stare at how good looking you are and put some makeup on? And we'll play a snippet of my nephew just came out with a band. He lives down in Long Beach. Let's do this. Let's get him some work. But yeah, but Magnum PI always seems like, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the male version of that would be, and it's just sort of like horrible bros who take advantage of people. But it's like
Cagney and Lacey, but that was more like Simon and Simon, which was also Donald P. Belisario, I believe.
Was it?
Yeah, because they did a Simon and Simon Magnum crossover at one point, which is pretty
did
sweet.
they?
Yeah, they sure did.
I've never seen that. Simon and Simon, were they on Magnum, or was Magnum on Simon?
I think they were on. I think they did the full-on 80s, which was the thing that happened a lot in the 80s, and it was just like, oh, you'd get so excited in the preview, and it was just.
Usually disappointing.
Yeah.
Usually
generally.
hard to live up to the amount of hype.
Yeah, you're so stoked for a lot of egos there too.
Where was Simon? Did that take place in Hawaii? I don't think.
Yeah,
it did.
I think they had. Yeah, I think
they
it
must
went
have gone
both.
to Hawaii like the Brady Bunch did.
Yeah.
And then ran into Magnum.
There was the Brady Bunch Magnum episode. That was a good one.
CBS will do anything. And so, okay. Yeah, I don't know, because he's got a new cop show out.
Yeah, and it's
called Blue something.
We got in an argument over, I think he could still play Magnum PI, but apparently he turned down a reunion because he was like, if we screw this up,
it's going to ruin everyone's.
Yeah, and I respect that, but
right.
I'm also kind of disappointed because
it would have been,
because they do so many reboots now of old shows. I'm so afraid of when they do the Magnum movie, they're just gonna.
I'd rather
just
be
that
they did like
thing.
A panel at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Why don't they just do like
God.
a Paley or something? And then it would just be fine. Just them just sitting around. And where did everybody else go to? Like, did everybody else keep working?
Hunsberger was actually at a big Hollywood party at one point.
He's like that.
Yeah, he sure is. When you think Hunsberger, you think glam. You
right.
think
the
party.
Hollywood life skill.
Yeah.
Playing Sega Genesis on a Monday. Sure.
Yeah.
That's what it's like here in Hollywood.
But he was talking about, there are all these like big, A-list people that he saw.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like, he's really not like that at all. Berger. But he was at this party. He's having a good time. He was just kind of saying these people. He wasn't like name dropping or anything. Mm-hmm. But then he was like, I think the same night he had a chance to go to some wedding, and it turns out Rick from Magnum PI was DJing the wedding.
Okay.
And that's when I got jealous. It wasn't like Leo DiCaprio or whatever. It was like
right.
Rick from Magnum, Larry
Rick?
Minetti, and but it was also just kind of sad. I was like, Larry's DJing parties.
Yeah, but it's okay, because the thing is you think about a career, and you're like, yeah, there's highs, there's lows, and if he's still working,
yeah,
that's kind of a win, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's all right. Like I saw, you ever see Moonlighting?
Oh yeah,
yeah, the woman who played the secretary.
Oh yeah, and she
dated
that
Booger.
Yeah.
They played Booger on Animal House or something like
yeah.
that. So I saw her at a comedy show. She was friends with the guys who were hosting, and she did a sketch with them. And I was like, I freaked out.
Yeah.
I have several pictures of her on my iPad
That's
from
awesome.
afar that are grainy and dumb. And I'm like, and I went up and I met her, after I tried to meet her before my set, but then I was next up. And so I went up, and then so I met her after, and she was like, You seem very excited. You did stand up. It was great. You were great. And I was like, you were just doing some stand up. I was like, yeah, I don't think you understand. You were on Moonlighting. And,
Moonlight, and that kind of launched Bruce Willis's career
entirely, I think.
Yeah,
to my knowledge.
That was his big. Yeah, that was
I
it.
tweeted today. I guess we're gonna need more FBI guys. I guess. Remember that? Remember that line when the FBI when the helicopter blows up, and the bad guy cop says, or the kind of loser cop says, "Oh, we're gonna need some more FBI guys." I guess.
Was that? Oh God.
There were 3 guys in the Die Hard movie who all the actors looked almost exactly the same.
The FBI dudes?
No, one of the FBI guys, one of the Johnsons, who was the FBI guy.
Yeah. That's
the
right.
head of the journalist, right? Who interviewed the lady who said, "I'm going to call
the guy from Ghostbusters," right?
I think he was the guy.
Yeah.
Or Ferris Bueller, maybe.
Yeah.
Or no.
I think he's the bad guy that unlocks the grid in Ghostbusters and lets all the he's.
Oh, is that him?
He was always an asshole in he was that guy. He's one of those guys.
Breakfast Club. He was,
that's right.
He was the detention teacher in Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
But him, the Johnson the white Johnson, and the guy, the head of the cop.
One of them was from Goonies too.
Oh, they all kind of look the same. They all have the same haircut.
Yeah.
It was a $200 haircut from 1984.
Yeah.
And it was what was available.
God, Die Hard.
It was a great movie.
So good.
Yeah, I was talking to my brother yesterday. We've completely digressed, but Raiders of the Lost Ark. My brother he was assistant manager of a movie theater when he was in college, and Raiders of the Lost Ark came out, and they would only send them 1 copy. And he was in a multiplex in Madison, Wisconsin, and him and his manager, they saw the preview. They just ran it, and during the middle of it, the manager turned to him and he actually, without any irony, said, "We're going to need a bigger theater."
Oh my God, that's so great.
Because they only had 1 print, because it was before, now they're sure they just send DVDs. But, now they were sending 35 millimeter. So what they did was they would start the first one at 12, and then they would just run it to another projector across the hall to the other projecting room.
Oh my God.
And start the next one at 12:05.
Wow.
And then it would just make sure hopefully there wasn't a glitch in the.
Jeez. That just made me nervous.
I know.
I just had anxiety.
Exactly. Okay. So, so what are your favorite episodes? What are your favorite scenarios? What happens in a Magnum PI that makes it one of the great Magnum PIs?
Well, sadly, the first season, it's kind of digressed that it's this weird, it's funny just to watch for. Because it really picks up. Yeah. Because and there's even.
Is it the writing or is it the acting or is the team not gelled?
It's the writing. The acting is superb. Tom Selleck really nails it.
They all nail it right from the get.
All
right.
But it's the last 2 episodes we watched were just horrendous, and we were almost just like, an old blind lady fell in a pool in a wheelchair, and I'm gonna say it was actually no, she was fine, but it was the way they shot it was just so terrible, and we've been finding inaccuracy. Like we saw in one episode, he throws. Oh, I'm butchering Magnum, but
it gets better.
It gets way better.
Just like high school.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if high school got better. Yeah. It
gets better after.
I eloped. He throws a gun in the ocean. And we saw a scuba diver's head pop up, which clearly that was his job just between takes to keep picking up these guns that he threw in the ocean.
Okay.
And then we saw one where a lady had a bathing suit, and underneath the bathing suit, she had this bulky microphone, and then and we saw a boom mic drop down. So
wow, so you guys are all right. So
I've got an eye for that stuff. It's really I love catching stuff like that. I don't know why.
It is pretty great. But what I would like to talk about weeding off again. There are 2 things that you mentioned. Now that we have to talk about who leapt through a window and almost killed you.
I just talked about that on Lady to Lady.
Okay.
It was cold grapes, but I still go in.
You still go in.
I'll edit this out. It was a girl.
Maybe, if I can find it. There was a girl that you were
that I was dating. Mm-hmm. It was Valentine's Day, And
1998.
something like, what was it? 2004. I don't know.
Okay.
Somewhere in there. I don't know when I almost was murdered.
Right.
Why would I know that? Mm-hmm. And we decided to make our thing official that night.
Boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yeah, because I had known her for years. We were friends. Mm-hmm. Clearly not that good of friends because her ex was just this coked up maniac. He's banging on her door.
Right.
And just screaming. And before that, we were having a serious conversation about, like, should we do this? Huh?
Right, yeah.
And I was kind of nervous. I was just on my way to a party around the corner. I didn't even really plan on doing that night.
Right.
And then there's all these texts to her, and she starts getting nervous.
Right.
And I just feel this energy. And then there's the banging on the door, banging on the back window. It's the studio apartment, banging on the front door again. And I was like, do you want me to take care of this? She's like, no. And then
Let's hide in here.
Yeah, he punches through a window.
Right.
The bathroom window. I see his arm go through. And then at some point he saw me. I think that's when he didn't know I was there. That's what's messed up is like,
because this
he
was in
probably,
her
this is her place. He didn't know. There was nothing that he should know about between us.
Yeah.
And so that's what's really scary is he was just going over there to
beat up her apartment.
Yeah, this is too. Yeah. Why am I just?
No, that's fine. And
I'm just always in the wrong place. There should be a Magnum like series around me.
You need a guy like Magnum PI to take care of you.
Yeah. Even to follow.
So he busted the window and then climbed through it?
He jumped through the window. He got
glass
stuck.
And everything.
Yes, he got stuck halfway through. I had a beer bottle ready to just pop it over his head. And
you didn't have to because he was cutting himself to ribbons.
Yeah, but it was that weird. As soon as I had it. I had the moment, and I was going to do it, but I'm not. I don't have that in me. You know,
to slam somebody in the head with a beer bottle.
Yeah,
it's probably for the best.
Yeah, and it's good that I don't.
Right, you hesitated.
I hesitated, and it was just this thing where it's like, this isn't happening, and it was like in slow motion, and and it was weird. Like everything got quiet, like everything was shut out. Yeah. And he looks up and he goes, "Don't fuck with me right now." And I didn't. And then he gets through the window. He's 6'5". I'm not near 6'5".
Right, you are not 6'5".
And no
one is. There's just 3 or 4 people.
It's just this Magnum PI and this guy jumping through a window. And he tries to. He clearly.
So he made it through the window.
He makes it through the window. And my whole thing is, don't let her get hit.
Yeah.
And you don't die.
Right.
That's it.
Right. And that is your task.
And it's that primal thinking where you just go, and it's good that, I accomplished those things, but I got the crap kicked out of me.
Oh, did he?
Cause he jumps, he like grabbed me, pushed me down on the bed, which is covered in glass cause it was below the window. He rolled around in glass. He may have hit me a couple times, but then I'm a strong little guy though, luckily. Mm-hmm. I pinned his arms behind his back. And he just headbutted me for a good minute.
Oh my God.
And just boom and hard. I had 2 black eyes for a month. Yeah. He was coked up or methed up. And then after that, the only time I got scared.
Did the police come at any time?
Way later. I was trying to call the cops immediately. I picked up my phone and then I think he knocked it out of my hand. It went under the bed.
And then, where's the heroine of this?
So she's just crying in the corner. And I'm yelling, call the cops. And then there are 2 parts.
My least favorite lady in all movies is the one who just.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a cowerer, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I more proactive than, possibly not very ladylike. It would have been more ladylike to have the vapors and then faint over in the fucking corner instead of grabbing a chair and going, why did we ever date? Which is the Jackie-cation. I'm so sorry.
No.
I don't mean to judge the poor woman who is clearly in a terrible relationship.
She did come to action at one point. And that's where I got really nervous. Well, there were 2 parts where I got nervous. One, he picked up one of those U-shaped bike locks that are pretty heavy.
Oh my God.
He grabs it. I'm on the bed and I'm bleeding because I've got glass all over me. And he picks it up and he just looks at me, looks at her, and he smiles. He smiles.
Like the evil fuck that he is.
And he's just like, this is where this guy ends. And so he's about to, and it was weird. I caught his wrist like when he swung it. It was like in the movies where we're doing this weird power struggle.
Right.
And
you genuinely could have been killed.
yes, easily. Yeah. And then this is where I got really nervous. She comes running and crying with a knife, shaking, with her hands shaking. And that's where I was like, well,
she may accidentally stab me.
Yeah. I thought the knife was going to end up in his hands,
right.
you know?
Oh, right.
And luckily it went under the bed where my phone was. It stabbed my phone. So
right.
no cops.
Right. That's where we're keeping things.
Let's keep everything under the bed. Anything useful under the bed. And, so she, it went under the bed. And then she got between us. She slaps him around. He just sobers up and he apologized to me. He's like, sorry, Doug. Sorry, Steph. He knew me, but he didn't know me. Like I'd met him. He totally normal a couple times.
He said the word sorry, Doug?
He said, sorry, Doug. Sorry, Steph. Walked out. And that was it. And then the cops showed up.
I thought you said dog.
Oh, no.
And I was like,
sorry, dog.
Wow. I was like, that is a little too hip
yeah.
for the room at this point. So.
Yeah.
But yes, your name is Doug Mellard. So sorry, Doug. Makes sense. Oh, Christ.
Yeah. But yeah, so then the cops showed up. I threw up from shock, I think, immediately.
Yeah.
And then what was terrible too was I'm covered in trashy tattoos. Yeah. I have a lot of joke tattoos and stuff. So I ripped off my shirt because I'm bleeding.
Right.
And then when the cops finally show up, I'm covered in blood and I yelled because I was stressed out. More stressed out than I've ever been in my life because I've almost been murdered. I just yelled, Steph, get me a beer. And I've got this big Texas tattoo. I'm the only male there and it's a domestic violence, call. So I look like the cops are questioning me and treating me like I'm a jerk. And I was like,
did they just grab you and?
They were just,
were they nicer?
They were kind of yelling at me.
Right.
They were kind of treating it like she was saying like, no, he saved it.
Right.
He saved the day. But they were still like, oh, she's just protecting her abusive boyfriend.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so, it's good that they were, I think that's a good thing. I mean, but it sucks to be in my shoes in that situation where it's like, no, I was just almost murdered. I'm the victim.
Right. Those situations where you're either in fear for your life or you're in danger and you've taken the steps to protect yourself.
Yeah.
There's slow motion. There's
absolutely.
It's like you're underwater where you're like, I maced a guy once and
oh, wow.
I've never carried mace since because I don't know if I maced him too quick and I'll never know. Right. Cause I just but he was in between me and my car.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't let me get in the car. And he was grabbing me and he was like, no, I just want to talk to you for a second. And he was drunk and I was drunk and I was like, get out of the way. I'm getting in my shitty 1983
Do you mean like
Ford
you maced him too quick, like you shouldn't have done it maybe?
Right.
I think already what you've described, you had every right.
I waited long enough.
Yeah.
I feel like cause I pulled the mace out and I was like, get out of the way or I will mace you. And he's like, why would you? I just want to talk. And I'm like, seriously. And then I maced him and then he, of course, went away.
Yeah.
and as he sat on the curb and was crying and was, dealing with mace and swearing.
Mace eyes.
And
that's what I call him.
Drunkenly got into my vehicle and drove home.
Hey.
Why wouldn't I drunkenly? He wasn't like he was trying to stop me drunk driving either. It was, which would have been.
He's actually a guardian angel that you've blinded.
Right. But it was I barely remember that night. I don't even know why, because I was far from the bar because I had to park far away.
Yeah.
And he had been leaning against the car. And I didn't know him. I never knew him.
Yeah.
I will never know him.
Yeah.
And he lived. So
was this back in Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was.
Wouldn't it be weird if he ran into you and he recognized
he was like, hey. I was the guy.
I've really changed my ways. You turned my life around that night.
Right. I realized I shouldn't try to talk to people when I'm
He's
super
like, you're
hammered.
not still drinking and driving, are you?
I am not. And what's weird is shit like that happens because I had I've told the story I think a dozen times on the podcast, but my heckler story, right, was when I first started doing stand-up in Madison. There was a heckler who followed me. It was just all one room, right? It was just a 4-wall in a Best Western. So I don't do well. 2 hecklers in the audience heckle me. I walk past the hecklers. One of them's passed out. The other one follows me up to the bar where I order a mug of beer.
Yeah.
And I have my mug of beer and I'm mad because my set didn't go well and I was angry. And this guy comes and he stands right behind me. He's probably 6 feet tall. And I make a very immature decision that if he talks to me one more time, I'm throwing my beer at him.
Yes.
And he doesn't. He touches me. I feel him touch my shoulder. Bartender and the bouncer both say afterwards that he was reaching over to grab my breast.
Wow.
A classy dude.
Yeah.
And doesn't matter because I turn around, throw the beer at him, missing him completely. Hitting the man behind him.
Oh.
Full in the face. Now, heckler guy grabs that guy's drink, throws it at me. So I'm soaking wet, guy behind him soaking wet, heckler guy laughing.
Oh, no.
And so I punched him. And I forgot that I was holding the beer mug. So I clocked him with a mug of beer.
Oh,
and
he deserved it.
Fell to the ground and then rose up and was screaming, it's not my shining moment. He screamed, "You fucking dyke. I'm going to kill you." And I said, "You got a problem with homosexuality, faggot?" A charming sentence that I've since and then
you got that tattooed on you, right?
Well, we were both kicked out of that bar, and because it wasn't a romantic comedy, we didn't end up dating. But
boy.
here's the follow up. I'm doing stringer one nighters for I think it was Muller. Anyway, in the Midwest, this guy, Ken Muller. So Guitar Comic from Wisconsin is the headliner I'm featuring. It's 1993 or 94. And we're driving in his car and we start telling each other heckler stories. And he tells me that story that I just told you. He was the guy I hit with the drink.
Oh my God.
We both had to pull over and find a payphone because it was 1994.
Wow.
And call our respective loved ones.
Oh my God.
To say, "Oh my God, we found the people." And I wish I could remember his name. I can't remember his name.
Oh boy.
So that's a crazy.
That's almost like a rom-com.
Right. That's the rom-com.
In the end, it's like a some sort of
When Harry Met Sally kind of moment.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. We
Wow.
also did not end up dating. Me and the guitar comic from Wisconsin.
What was he doing comedy then?
Yeah, he had just come to check out the room. He'd come
And
to
he's
check out the
a
shitty
comic
one-nighter.
heckling?
No, he was the guy behind the heckler.
Oh, yeah, got you. Sorry.
Yeah. It was, we're going to go a little over because I have clearly digressed into.
Oh, no, this is
And
great.
what you didn't get to do, is there anything else you'd like to just, when you tell people, could they start season 2? If they wanted to get in on Magnum PI, every episode stands alone, right? There's not a big arc.
Well, part of it's just the campiness of any 80s show is great, A-Team, all that stuff, Knight Rider. But yeah, you gotta just stick with it or leap in,
Yeah.
Go into
leap
season
in.
3 or season 4.
Yeah, try a couple of episodes. You're gonna you're not gonna, it's like not seeing Transformers 2 and seeing Transformers 3.
Yeah.
You'll get it.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
you
you're
were
fine.
looking. G.I. Joe 2 was fine. I didn't have a lot of G.I. Joe information before going in. Still, there was a lot of blowing up. There was some jumping up and down.
That's
It all
most
worked
movies
out.
these days.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Now, very briefly, because, I know we could talk another hour about your favorite superheroes. Because you said I could talk about superheroes. And I like that
I could
sort
talk
of.
about superheroes forever.
I like the sweeping statement that is that. What defines a superhero?
Well, Magnum PI. No.
He's kind of a superhero, right?
I like to think on that Valentine's night I was a superhero. No, I was a comic book kid. Mm-hmm. And, so, like, what do you...
Well, I mean, when you say I love superheroes, what do you mean? Do you mean I love Batman?
Yeah, I love Batman. So I was a Spider-Man junkie growing up. That was my jam. I actually at one point prayed for the powers of Spider-Man when I was in the. I didn't know
Why
how prayer
not?
worked. I was in the second grade.
Sure. That's how prayers work. You
Yeah,
pray, and sometimes you get them, and then
I
when you
prayed,
want to be Spider-Man, you don't.
And I kept leaping onto the wall, not sticking, and just basically beat the hell out of myself.
You were just throwing yourself against the wall?
Yeah, just trying to land
I had a
it.
cousin like that. Maybe he wanted to be Spider-Man.
You have no idea. You should ask.
Well, I know people, I used to babysit for this kid who literally cried, sobbed her heart out when she turned 11 and didn't get a letter from Hogwarts.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
She just was beating herself up. So, but Spider-Man, how do you feel about Spider-Man now? Have you tried to read it or watch any of the movies or? 'Cause Spider-Man's hard when you get older.
I did not like
The Amazing?
The second one. I like the first one okay. The second one I did not care for. I feel like with the Superman franchise, they're trying to, like, the Avengers was set up so carefully, over the course of, like, almost a decade. They pieced together the Avengers with all these movies.
From the Iron Man and Thor and all that.
And then I feel like with this new Superman thing, they're just like, let's make the Justice League happen next, immediately. This next one, they've got Aquaman and Green Lantern and all these, Flash, everybody. But it was the same thing with Spider-Man, where I felt like the sequel, They just
like, we
jammed in the villains
rights.
because they're doing a Sinister Six spinoff, which is just a villains movie. Which it's like, well, don't they fight someone? Because then there has to. They're billing it as a villains thing, but so is the villain the hero? How does this make? But most of the Sinister Six is in the new Spider-Man movie. But I felt like they're just cramming. Like, we got to get the Sinister Six movie out because we signed this deal, and so I just feel like it's too rushed.
It was Rhino and Goblin and
I think it's gonna be Rhino, Goblin, Electro? And three others, Dr. Octopus, and Vulture, and one more, I guess. But
there has to be a lady. They have to have some sort of spandexy lady.
I don't know. Well,
maybe it'll be something is happening in
happening.
Daredevil, where Daredevil, Electro. Some sort of, it's not Catwoman, it isn't Batgirl, it isn't, I don't know who the hell it is.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But she found Electro, and she used to, and Daredevil just fought her in the most recent Daredevil comic. And so, I can't remember what character it was, but, maybe it's her.
Maybe, yeah.
Hey, guess what I have? A third of the information, Rangers. Get out there, Google something.
What's crazy is, like, I was a comic book kid, took 2 decades off, and then being a comic and being at Meltdown Comics a lot, doing stand up and just going to shows and stuff, like, you're back in that world, and it's like, oh, it's flooding back, and now I'm a junkie. Like, now I'm there all. Boy.
Yeah, we bought all 3 Guardian titles. We bought the Legendary Star-Lord, Rocket Raccoon.
No way. See,
Guardian, written by this Corona Pilgrim, might be good because previously the last arc was written by Bendis.
Yeah.
Who I like his dialogue. He's fine. The Guardians of the Galaxy arc he wrote was an X-Men fucking title, where the Guardians of the Galaxy just show up in the background, and you're like, why would you take my Guardians? I read X-Men. We don't need you to fuck up my Guardians of the Galaxy. Why you got to be an asshat?
I am so excited about this movie. It looks amazing.
It's so good. The Abnett.
I've not started Saga, and I've heard it's amazing.
It's pretty great. And then there's something called Cowl that Meltdown actually recommended. This thing, Kyle Higgins. I don't know his work offhand, but Alex Siegel. But the art is really good. And so, I mean, I don't know a lot about.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I don't know a lot about DC superheroes, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we mostly read Huntress and Power Girl, and they're from like Earth 2. They're from like a parallel Earth, and they've landed on Prime Earth, only called Prime because we're here.
Duh.
But did you read Secret Six? Did you ever read that? Gail Simone Secret Six? That's a great arc for DC, where they were supervillains, and they're kind of like the Thunderbolts, where they end up doing good. And there was a creepy, he's a villain, like he's a crazy person, but the Secret Six would get hired by to go save somebody.
Yeah.
And so they were a team. And Ragdoll was this incredibly crazy, super crazy.
Yeah.
Dressed and painted up like a ragdoll.
Yeah. God, that's creepy.
And that's my thing with DC, is that it gets a little creepier than I need.
Yeah.
So I like Marvel superheroes kind of better, and the movies are better.
Yeah, I feel like Stan Lee too, and Jack Kirby did such a great job of a lot of the superheroes had kind of different there was a story, there was a lesson behind, Spider-Man was like a teenager that you could identify with, that had a hard time in school getting picked on, and X-Men was more about, I feel like civil rights activism and stuff like that. And I feel like there's a lot more real story behind it, where it's like Superman just has all the powers in the world. The end, you know.
The end. Try to beat him. Oh,
Batman.
You don't have any kryptonite? I guess you can't.
And it's like Batman is like, yeah, I'm sorry, your parents died 50 years ago. Get over it. Good Lord.
Everybody's parents died. So many people's parents died. Spider-Man turned his uncle's dying into something real. You know?
Yeah.
Turned it into something nice.
Yeah, he sure did.
And
that was sad. But I sleptwalked when when I was in the second grade when we moved, and I remember I was really deep into comics at that point. And I would do it was night terrors where you fully you can see and you're walking and talking. And the first couple times I had bunk beds with my brother, and the first couple times he didn't know what was going on. He was just freaked out because I was just screaming in the middle of the night, wake him up, and then he started. Once we figured out what it was, my parents like kind of sat us down and like explained to my older brother, he would be 8, I guess, or 10, 12, and just like, hey, you need to take care of your little brother when he's going through this. We need to try to get him out of it. And I remember one time, I still can remember seeing them and talking to them,
right?
But you're asleep, and I woke up and I was like, go in the other room and see if I'm Batman. And he was just like, but at that point he thought it was hilarious. So he's just like, yep, you are. And then I was just like, oh God. And then at one point I remember waking up my parents in the middle of the night, and like we only lived in this house for like a year, and I remember this vividly. I shake them and I'm crying and I'm just like, the Fantastic Four were just killed by Green Goblin. And they're just like, what the hell is going on?
Wow. And they still let you read comic books?
Yeah, they sure did. They sure did.
They're like, oh, it's probably not the content.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It'll be fine. That is hilarious. Doug Mellard, tell me briefly, let us get your website out there. It's Twitter to find out where you're doing stuff.
Yeah, you can just
This'll come out end of July. Are you working the road much, or
end of July I will be.
In August,
I'm trying to think. August I'll be. I'm taking a little mini vacation to Santa Fe. If you want to just see me in Santa Fe,
I'm so jealous.
I'm meeting my girlfriend's parents for her dad for the first time. I'm so excited. Seeing her mom, but who I love. But I can't wait. It's gonna be great. But then the week after that, August 20th through the 23rd or 21st through the 24th, something like that, I'm in Portland at the Helium with Dave Foley, so that'll be a blast.
And end of the month in August, you're going to be Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, I know I have some LA dates, but I can't think of them. But just find me at Doug Mellard on Twitter, and you can find all my
check it out.
dates.
And you play Austin pretty regularly, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll be at
do you do Philly or Buffalo?
Yeah, I haven't in a while, but I'll probably be back up there soon. I'm doing Cap City the 15th through the 18th of October.
Okay.
And then I'm doing Fun Fest again in November 7th, 8th, 9th.
Right. I've heard of that.
And it is a blast.
Is it fun?
It is fun.
Is it a festival of funness?
That's always the weirdest thing, but it's one of my favorite festivals, and it's just like it's this weird thing where you're just like fun fest, and you always want to just say it's really fun, but it just feels stupid.
Right, because you've already said the word fun 3 times.
It's a lot of fun.
Is it just stand up or is it also music?
No, it's music. It's 4 stages. There's a hip hop, a metal stage. Judas Priest is playing.
Oh my gosh!
Run DMC reunited for it one year. It's insane. Yeah, it's great. So, and the stand up, John Waters performing on the yellow stage.
Oh,
this year.
Cool.
And
he wrote a new book.
The hitchhiking thing.
The hitchhiking. Did you try it?
I just heard about it yesterday. I'm so excited to check it out.
I want to download the Audible. Because I'd rather hear him read it than not.
Oh my God, I didn't even think of that. That is great. And I just sounded like Will Arnett. That was weird.
That is all right. What I usually ask people what they're reading. Is there anything you'd recommend? What do you like to read?
Actually, just comics right now. And
good
screenwriting books.
Books, how to write a screenplay.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. And I did hear about a book. Oh crap, I can't think of it. But it's about a guy. I want to check it out about the Hollywood Scientology scene and a guy that got out of that. Yes.
That's what it's called.
I want to check it out.
Somebody else told me about it. I said, well, that sounds terrifying. Do you know what I'm going to do? Just not join Scientology and not know all the ins and outs about it.
I'm so curious. It sounded intense, but that and the John Waters book, like I just heard about him yesterday. And other than that, on the vinyl, John Lennon. He's
John
long
Lennon?
since passed.
Oh, yeah, that guy. That guy's amazing. His new stuff.
Sean Lennon, his son's new band with his wife or girlfriend or fiance or whatever. Ghost of the Saber-Toothed Tiger?
Is the name of the band?
So great.
It's a great band?
So, yes.
And they got a new album? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And July 22nd, Dan the Automator is this amazing artist has Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
His girlfriend and that, they have an album coming out that's like hip hop, French pop, 60s fusion. It sounds
and you've heard
crazy.
Some of it, or?
Well, I just trust Dan the Automator because he's this amazing like hip hop mogul that's Automator.
Okay.
He's just been a producer behind so many things. He did an album called Handsome Boy Modeling School that used Funny Man. Oh shit, Chris Elliott.
There you go. You found it.
And then Tim Meadows
your way into a name. Well done.
Oh, we're going way over, but
it's all good.
He's a genius, and I'm really looking forward to that. But
okay, well, that is all awesome. That is, thank you so much for doing
Thank
this.
you.
We talked easily 35 minutes about Magnum PI, which is one of my favorite things to be able to say out loud. Doug Mellard, you guys, go see him do stand-up comedy, and thanks again for listening, Rangers. Take care out there. Bye.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?